Hey everyone, how's it going today? Today's video is me talking about my life a little bit, um, explaining how things go for me on a day-to-day. Uh, so, to be honest, I have a lot of struggles just like everyone else, and I have a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression, and they both go hand in hand together. I've gone through life with this struggle probably all my life, or most of my life. I grew up quite poor um, in Kentucky, raised by my grandparents, my brother and I, and we didn't have much. We got by quite well um, for an elderly family trying to raise two heathen children like my brother and I were. We had a lot of good memories and lots of good stuff, but we also had a lot of struggles and a lot of hard times, and just different things growing up in southern Kentucky that that makes life a little different now for me. I dropped out of school in the ninth grade. One of the worst mistakes I feel like I've made is just because whenever you don't have an education, people don't seem to take you very seriously. And you can be as smart as a whip, you can know how to do everything under the sun, and still people will not take you as seriously as you need them to, and they won't compensate you for your time as the same as other people who have an education and maybe not as smart as you. So that's been my one thing that I really regret the most. But coming up still in southern Kentucky, the education system's not all that great there. Lots of smart kids came out of my school, of course, but it wasn't really, any popular place that anyone can say that made them a better person. Or I don't know. It was just a regular high school. So I got in a lot of trouble starting out as a young kid. Dropping out of school gave me a lot of free time to run around and do things I probably shouldn't. We were skateboarding a lot, my brother and I and my neighbor, and we killed a lot of time doing that, and that was probably really good for us because all three of us would probably have gotten in a lot more trouble if we didn't have skateboarding. And we had some good influences around us, some older guys that were skateboarding in town also that were there helping us and showing us the ropes as young guys. And shout out to all those guys, Chris, Ian, Travis, all you guys. So had some good influences, but also lacking a lot of good influences. My father was an alcoholic. He was a Vietnam vet. He come in and out of our house a lot. Like I said, I was raised by my grandparents, his mother and father. They allowed him to come in and out of the house and live somewhat on the couch here and there. And my father being an alcoholic, sometimes it would be a good day, sometimes it would be a bad day. He would take it out on whoever was in the way of his bad days. And a lot of times we would be in the way of his bad days, whoever's in the house at that day or whatever. So just struggles in that sense, and that was before I dropped out of school, so that could have led up to me wanting to not really be in school. I believe most people understands the cycle by now of how it works in these type of families. You have a set of circumstances that all trigger different things that just add up in the end, and then leads to lots of struggles in your mind, and lots of struggles and questions of how to get by and how to live life and be a good person, because you weren't taught these things. There wasn't a father figure, and God bless my grandmother and grandfather. They did their best to help my brother and I, but they had already lived their life and raised a large family, and my father and uncle and siblings, uncles, and you name it, were all in my family, in my grandparents' house, more or less. So they had run their course, I would assume or say. So we got the best that they could do, but my point is we didn't exactly get the father figure that was supportive of any kind of ideas that my brother and I may have tried to pursue, or want to venture out and do professionally in the future. We weren't coached to go to school and do well with the grades. We were coached to do well with their grades, but it wasn't a mandatory thing for our grades to be good. And so my brother and I both quit school, and we struggled until we did. So it was one of those things that was foreseen to happen. And in those days, you could drop out of school a little bit differently than you can now. You only needed a family signature, a guardian signature. It was that day you could be in and out. So back to the point is, the lack of the role models and stuff that I feel like that probably would have kept me in school. I feel like that may be some of the major factors that leads me to where I have run around a lot of my life and not exactly pursued one particular goal, one particular dream, one particular profession. This has led to a fun life by all means. I mean, I'm 46 years old now and living in Mexico, broke. Have ideas and dreams still, but again, it's not really something that's being a professional career or anything similar to that. I'm beach bumming and getting by on credit cards at the moment, thank God. So, to be real with everyone, life is what you make it, because being in such a beautiful place like where I'm at in Tulum, Mexico, you would think, how in the world could you be in any way depressed or in any way upset? Why would you be making a video like this? But honest is why I'm being honest, is why I'm making a video like this, because maybe just hearing my struggles would help someone else think through their struggles and see that they're not alone, and maybe it'll help them come to the conclusion that another day is another chance, and who knows, maybe, it'll help. And that's really why I'm making the video right now, is because tomorrow I will wake up and I will have a new mindset. I will thank the higher powers for a new day and go about my day. And just today has just been one of those days that it's not been so easy. So I felt like sharing how these days go for me, and a little bit of my background of where I came from and what led me up to making a mental health video, I would say. Anxiety and depression's a very strong emotion that many people suffer from, no matter how big and strong you are, no matter what you've endured. Yeah, I mean, it can cripple you. It paralyzes me. It makes me procrastinate beyond. I mean, it's just it kills me how much I procrastinate, just from anxiety and overthinking and just pacing in my apartment and maybe having some ideas and just not able to even leave. It's hard to explain, but I eventually will force myself out the door, and then I feel better once I get in the sunshine and get Jeezy walking and fresh air and making videos, reaching out to you guys. Again, this is just my side of how my days like this are, and maybe you guys can relate, maybe not. Maybe it sounds like I'm just here telling a story, but it is what it is, and maybe this will help someone else. Is honestly my goal. So, okay, take deep breaths, smile. It'll be okay. Okay, guys, see you later.